Okay, we're going to use generative fill to take some people out of the background of a photo. Let's go to generate. So what you'll notice is that um, we're going to do these exercises. Some of these exercises in Firefly are going to overlap with Photoshop or with Express or with Illustrator. And you can, in some cases, there's no difference. You can do it in either. In some cases, some tools or some applications will afford you more flexibility. For instance, Photoshop has much more sophisticated tools for creating selections, and then there's some different directions you can go after you've made those selections. But we're going to start with this image, and you'll be uh, presented with these images as well. You'll have them in a folder where you can use them. I'm going to grab this image here. As I said before, I go to Pexels or Unsplash and grab images to use that are royalty free. I'm going to click upload image. And so here's our picture. Now, I like this picture, but what I want to do is I want to push her further to the foreground by taking out some of the people in the background. So I want to take out this group of people right here. I want to take out this young lady with the balloon, and I'm going to use the remove button instead of insert. I want to remove, and I'm just going to rub it all over here and something like this. And I can remove this person as well. I just have to be careful. I don't want to steamroll over her hand. Okay, and it's really interesting because most of the time I've been studying Photoshop, you had to be so careful with making a selection. The selection had to be carved and fretted over, and it had to be pristine, and you had to sweat, and sometimes you would spend minutes, hours creating a fine selection. And now you can just kind of do this kind of a simple dump. So we're going to select that there. We've got remove here. We're going to click remove, bam. And it's going to remove those people out of the background, which will push her forward because there won't be as many competing things for the eye to see. And this is just another, and that's pretty impressive. So we've got three options here. And I like the first two. I think this one's the most convincing. This one's got some weird stuff going on here. Let's go with that one. So I wanted to so now there's quite a lot less things to compete with as far as she's concerned. I'm going to keep that. And then I'm going to remove the balloon and the girl. And let's come in here like this. And I want to make sure that I stay right on this inside of here. If I make a mistake, if I go over, I can subtract, so I can work back and forth until I make this. Sometimes it's easier to paint over and then scrub it back. Either one of those techniques is fine. Let's continue on here. And then what I want to do is I want to make my brush a little bit smaller with the left bracket key and get in here, because one of the things you have to be careful about is, feet and hands showing up where they shouldn't, all right? And so that's something that you have to be careful of. And I'm just going to come in here and carefully get rid of that bicycle, because I think that was part of what we were seeing there. I don't want. And something like this seems to be a pretty good selection. Now, in Photoshop, I can make a finer selection, and we'll come back and work with that later. Let's look at remove. So we're removing this from the background. And that looks pretty good. Let's look at the second one. Let's look at the third one. So the third one's got a lot of problems. The second one's pretty good. I think the second one makes more sense. Let's see here. Second one or the first one are pretty good. I think I like the second one. So now I would click keep and download. And what I've done here is I've removed the background from the photo. There's nothing behind her for about good, I don't know, 15, 10 feet. And that pushes her forward in the image, okay? So that's the kind of thing I can do very easily. And I remember doing things like this in Photoshop, and it would take hours, okay? And then it would be a lot of elbow grease, a lot of work. And the fact that these tools are able to identify, understand, for the most part. I mean, it's an odd thing what's happening with this. Um, and my contention is that instead of being afraid of it, we should embrace it, learn how to use it, incorporate it into our skill set, and grow from it instead of fearing it. Okay. And then each of us will find the appropriate amount of use for these types of tools in our toolkit. Okay. And for some, it may be a lot. For some, it may be not very much at all. But the idea is that this is happening, is in front of us, it's being embraced, it's being used, and there's nothing wrong with learning and understanding and growing. And that's it for this exercise.